welcome everybody. And this meeting is live on Zoom, so there may be folks out there in the public watching the meeting because there's a join the meeting number. But what I'm going to do first is this is time for board reorganization. So it's that one time a year when I start the meeting and then turn it over to the chair. So the floor is open for nominations for chair.
I nominate Lisa Ash. This is Tim Merrill.
Nomination for Lisa. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Who's this? Can you identify the name so I have something?
Peter will second that.
Peter? Okay, thanks.
Everyone.
Any other nominations? Hearing
like
none? Go ahead.
Could we do the vice chair at the same time?
Usually we do the chair first and then the chair takes over the meeting.
Gotcha.
So there's a nomination for Lisa Ash by Tim, seconded by Peter. Hearing no other nominations, I'll close nominations. All in favor of Lisa Ash for chair, say, it has to be a roll call. I'm sorry, because we're on this. Jan, can you take a roll call, please?
Sure. Maureen?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Bernie?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Did I miss anyone?
Bill?
Phil, sorry.
Yes.
All right. So it's unanimous.
Congratulations, Lisa. Meeting's all yours.
Thank you. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Any changes to the agenda?
Did Michelle get a hold of you about a checklist to be compliant with the right to know law?
Yes.
Okay. You may want to read that first so that everybody knows what we're doing.
Okay. Did everybody receive that, or did I just?
No, I think that came very late this afternoon and I had it sent to you.
Okay, so it looks like, let me get there. Can you guys still hear me when I close out
Yep.
my?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be a checklist to ensure meetings are compliant with the right to know law during the state of emergency. So I guess I should sum it up, Mark, by basically saying every decision we make will be a roll call.
I think you have to read the whole thing, Lisa.
Okay, all right. As chair of the Pemmy Baker School Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there are no physical locations to observe and listen contemptuously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. 31st, 2020 school board meeting, we are utilizing Zoom meeting for the electronic meeting. Number one, all members of the Pemmy Baker School Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access contemporaneously listen to it if necessary, participate in the meeting through dialing the following number 929-205-6099 and password 642-938-01, or on the following website address, which is basically the Zoom address. Providing public notice of necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing, including how to access the meeting with using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have been put in place by the website on the SAU 48 Plymouth Regional High School website. which is the HTTP SAU48.org, and can be found in the announcement section. Providing a mechanism for public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with the access. If anybody has a problem, please call Kylie Cap at 236-6684. Adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is able to access the meeting will be adjourned and scheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by roll call, which we already did. When each member of the residents, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Lastly, many public bodies are utilizing video teleconferencing technology Zoom to ensure the electronic meeting comply with the right to know law and any applicable due to process requirements. In certain circumstances, a public body may be conducted utilizing audio-only technology. If you have any questions about the appropriateness of the technology utilized to conduct your meeting, please consult your agency, counsel, or attorney general's office.
There you go.
Okay, so, and, I meant to, we want to nominate Tim as secretary. So before we start the meeting, should we do that or do we?
Yes.
Okay, so let me back up. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Tim as secretary.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have to take a roll call.
Are you going to do that every time, Janice, or should I?
It's what you just read.
Yeah, the secretary does, Lisa.
Okay.
Okay. Maureen,
Yes.
Peter,
Yep.
Roger,
Yes, and for the record, I'm alone.
Bernie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Cappy,
Yes.
Phil.
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so, Mark, now we want to just review the agenda and make any changes?
Yes, please. In the non-public session, I don't need for a legal issue, merely personnel and nominations.
Okay. All right, and, I mean, we wouldn't have privilege of the floor unless,
You can, and we'll see if Kylie gets any phone calls.
okay.
Lisa, this is Tim. Were we supposed to do the vice chair also?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I would nominate Christie. What's that?
All right. Go ahead, Janice.
Oh, no, does she know? Because she's not
Yeah.
here?
Yes,
Okay.
she does.
Yes.
So Tim
Okay.
nominated, who's second?
I'll second.
Maureen will second.
All right, okay, Janice, if you want to do the roll call again.
Sure. Maureen,
Yes.
obviously. Peter,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Bernie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Cappy,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Phil.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, great. All right, I think that's everybody. Okay, approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to, I guess we have the last board meeting as well as the non-public minutes. Did everybody see both of those? Any changes to those minutes?
I'm going to abstain on the non-public ones. And Lisa, I'm going to abstain. I was not at that meeting. And actually, I have a question about that, but I'll be abstaining on that one.
Okay.
And I probably should too, Lisa. I was not at the meeting.
Yeah, and
I was
Lisa,
not there either.
Who's that? I was not.
Bonnie.
Okay.
Bernie too.
Bonnie, Bernie, Phil, and Tim. Okay.
I accept the, I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Okay, Peter, seconded by
Maureen.
Maureen, great. Janice, do you want to do a roll call on the rest of the group, those minutes, or?
Sure. Keep those straight. Maureen,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Roger,
Abstain?
okay. Sam,
Yes,
except for the non-public,
yes.
and Lisa,
Yes,
Cappy,
Yes.
and that's it.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
yep.
All right, we don't have a student with us, obviously, and superintendent's report.
Yes, can I go back to, Phil had a question on meetings.
I went back to my notes and I showed that we weren't going to have a meeting on the 3rd because of district meetings.
No, Phil, I had that we were meeting the 3rd and the 17th and the 31st. And that the 17th got canceled because of
Right.
the COVID-19. But we had always scheduled the 31st because we needed to do teacher nominations.
Well, but that was on at your last meeting, right?
I have to tell you, I don't remember.
Because I read that in the minutes. But my question was, and Michelle and I solved the problem because if it was notification via email, anything from your office went to junk.
Oh.
So I didn't get to I guess it's my fault, but is that how that one was set up? It was notified by email?
Yes, everything that we do with you, all of you, we do through your Pemmy Baker email so that your regular email can't be subpoenaed.
Okay.
Are you all
set.
set, Phil?
I'm set, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're going to talk about April, May, and June at this meeting, so we all know what we're doing, or until something changes again. Madam Chair, if I could go through my report, I'll be as brief as possible. As all of you know, we're in remote learning until Monday, May 4th. We're supposed to be scheduled to come back to school. But I expect, and my information comes from the scientists and the medical folks, they're expecting a surge of new cases throughout the state and the country over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that May 4th date is extended. And I don't know if there'll be another date made, or the governor will say we'll do remote learning for the rest of the school year, as has our neighbor in Vermont. So your guess is as good as mine, but I'm not confident that we're going to be back in school on May 4th. The building access has been extremely limited. We've tried to keep, we've turned off all the fobs, and access to the building really is Bruce and an occasional administrator, Kylie for technology purposes, and then John and Amy and the custodial staff. Occasionally, Dan Rossner is in, along with Austin Jacobs and the food service staff. And as I said, all the fobs have been taken off of line, so you normally not get into the building with a fob. What we're trying to do is do some serious cleaning and disinfecting, and we don't want people to come into the building after certain areas have been wane. Right now, we have discussions underway. Bruce will talk about academics and teaching in a minute. But we do have discussions underway about the status of April vacation. We're asking the question, since we're on remote learning, would you like to continue right through April and get out of school 5 days earlier in June? Rather have the April vacation as planned. With all the resorts and the planes not flying, many folks are saying, well, we're stuck here anyway, we might as well get out earlier in June. But we're getting feedback from teachers and families, and one of the issues I thought would pop up is families are under such stress, maybe they would like a week without school, but we're gonna wait and see what we have. Food service, Dan Rossner's done a terrific job managing the food service operation along with Austin Jacobs and food service staff. And we have, basically, we have pickup in most of our districts, curbside pickup at the school for breakfast and lunch. It's a combined meal, combined bag, I should say. And out in Rumney and Wentworth, we're following the bus routes and doing some drop-offs along the bus route. And a lot of that has to do with their status with free and reduced. And then high school kids have the option of either picking up their meal at the local elementary school in the town that they live in, or if they want, they can pick it up at Plymouth Elementary School. Those are the two options. We had curbside pickup at the high school for a few days, but there was not enough traffic to justify folks here. And so those lunches, breakfasts have gone out into the sending districts. So there are a number of other things. I'd be happy to respond to questions. Our heads are spinning, as most people are, trying to get everything accomplished that we're trying to accomplish. But if it's okay, Madam Chair, I'll let Bruce pick up from here and talk a little bit about what's going on academically with the teachers and the kids.
Hi, Madam Chair, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Technology here. Academically, as Mark said, it has been a challenge, but as you well know, we jumped out of the forefront on that Monday and went to remote learning. The majority of our staff are on Google Docs, Google Classroom, and we have been doing that for the past 2 weeks. I have kept in constant communication with the staff. I have sent a number of messages out to the parents regarding feedback from the parents regarding the schedule on how this is working. We've sent out information to the staff in regards what the state has recommended in regards to the amount of hours that high school students should be putting in. One of the major issues we've been dealing with is the students who are not performing, who are not engaging remotely. I have made sure, I want to give kudos to our director, Kylie Kapp, who has been unbelievable help in making sure that every student in high school has a device. In the afternoons, usually we're available. Student devices aren't working, the plugs aren't working, or they need to exchange a computer. We've made that possible. Right now, yesterday, I sent out a survey to the entire school. They have till tomorrow at 10 o'clock to respond. I wanted to know, we asked them a series of questions. That is on our webpage if you want to look at that. The responses were unbelievable. So far, I've received 400 responses from the students. I hope to get possibly another 100 to reach that 500. And they're being very honest in regards with how much homework they're getting, the work they're getting, how it's affecting their lives, what they're looking for. I'll be able to share. I been answered a number of emails with parents on their concerns on that too. We are looking possibly at a different type of schedule as we move throughout the week. Next week, Mark will talk more about that as we work together, because I'm trying to collaboratively work not only with our administrators, but staff and the students as well, who will be directly affected by that. So we could be looking at a change of how we're doing our structure. And again, Mark will look at that and give you more examples of that. Two of the biggest concerns, obviously, and you feel terrible, we don't have those answers right now, is obviously graduation and the junior senior prom. And not being able to give anybody an answer to that. Again, we have to look and see where we are. We are in a poor position with the junior senior prom because it's that first week in May. And we may have to look at other alternatives, but again, we'll deal with that issue when we see, what we have here. But we plan on doing some form for the seniors and regarding graduation. What that looks like, I don't have that answer right now.
Hey, Bruce,
Yes, questions?
the governor today canceled all the standardized testing.
Yes,
All
he
the
did.
college boards, how are they gonna take those?
As of right now, the standardized test that, the commission has signed off on it.
Yep.
So right now, they're not. That was one of the concerns that the commission had, was students who economically were disadvantaged because we paid
Yep.
for the test, as you well know. So I don't have an answer to that, Peter.
Okay,
But we are not, we signed off, the governor and the commission have signed off on that. So we
Yep.
will not be doing that test.
yep,
Other
okay.
questions? Feedback from school board people who are experiencing this with their own children? Okay, I'll turn it back to Mark.
Thanks, Bruce. One other thing that I wanted to go over in my report was the results of the vote. And I think you all got that in your package. We're very pleased by the percentage. Question 1 was 87% contingency. Question 2 was 82%. And the budget passed with 70% of the vote, and that was terrific. And, we should all be very, very proud of getting the budget passed. And I think that it's the hard work that you do out in the communities and the transparency. We try and put up everything we have on the website, and of course, public television is always with us. But 70% in the economic times is terrific, and I really appreciate the generosity and support from the community. Bruce talked a little bit about the schedule. What we're doing is trying to find a little bit more structure and a little bit more support time. We still would be, faculty would be billed 5 days a week, but what we're looking at direct instruction versus review time versus planning and prep time. So we're looking at some models. We still important to get the faculty involved in these conversations. So I don't want to come out and lay out all the models we're looking at tonight, but we'll get back to you very quickly, get the feedback from everybody that we'd like to hear from. But what we're trying to do is make it easier for families and kids, and more structure in the schedule. Any questions at all about where we're at in terms of the school or the school schedule?
Mark, could I just ask a question? I saw email today that someone raised the issue related to special education programming.
Right.
And especially for those students who have one-on-one.
Yep.
How are we coping with that? I don't need a detailed.
Tanya Orlando has done a terrific job with her case managers. She has personally talked with all the families and set up a schedule as best we can, given where we're at electronically. And those support staff people do follow up and work with students after or during a set time after direct instruction or direct. So I think so far so good. As you know, Phil, it's the toughest part of this
Right.
because there are so many things done for so many people. And so I know that they're looking at some waivers in some of the special ed requirements. So that's yet to come down from the Department of Ed nationally. We certainly are looking at that. But I think that Tanya and her staff are doing a terrific job of that, and the faculty working with Tanya's case managers also making sure that those kids get everything that they need.
Mark, this is Bernie. I have a question. How is this affecting our budget? Is it?
Actually, I think you will find yourselves with more money than we expected because we're saving in a number of the areas of the overhead. For instance, Dan confirmed with the hospital today that the nursing contracts have shut down. So we would be saving that kind of money. We're working with the bus company. We need the bus company. We don't need them pulling out, and then we got to get kids back. So we're working on some prorated numbers with the bus company. We're working with all of our vendors. So I think quite frankly, for instance, if there's not any spring sports, all of that money does not get spent. And that's a very real possibility. I'm not rooting for that. I'm just saying those are the kinds of things that will break our way. So I think at the end of the fiscal year, the board will have an opportunity to look and say, how much unreserved fund balance is going to go back? And also, how much do we want to have in retainer? But I think it'll be larger than we expected. The other point that I would make is no one knows what the fall is going to look like. And in the back of our minds, we've been saying, if we can really help with the unreserved fund balance, that is going to minimize the amount. Well, it's going to help offset the number of dollars that have to be raised, and so that could be a little bit of a break for taxpayers who could be under some significant stress time of paying the bills. So, we'll look at all of those things and make recommendations to you. But we'll have a better handle, Bernie, on the numbers a little later on when we really know what we're doing, and then we can really shorten it. If we know we're coming back and we know we're going to do things, we can take care of that. If we know we're not coming back, then we can get you some better numbers earlier on.
Mark, if I may?
Yeah.
What about the SRO? Is that person going back to the Plymouth PD, or have we terminated that agreement?
Yes, she's not here. As you know, we pay on a per day basis. So we'll sit down with Chief LaFave and go through that. I have to tell you, I am so pleased with how that has gone. I'm glad you brought that up, Phil. I'm so pleased with how that's gone. Officer Jill Carroll, it's just been sensational in both schools, and her relationship with the kids is absolutely outstanding. I think we really hit a home run in that program.
I have a question. This is Maureen. Mark, as far as the schedule goes coming up this next couple months and whether we have April break or not, at what point do you think you'll be making that decision?
As soon as I can, Maureen. I just want to make sure that we get it. I really want input from the parents. The other people, we all are concerned about faculty and kids, but also it must be an incredible burden for parents who are working and have 2 or 3 kids in the system, and you're trying to do second grade support and a 6th grade support and a high school support. And it's awful tough, and then they have their own financial lives to worry about. So I think the stress level is huge, and we want to do what most people want us to do, quite frankly. If that's take a break in April, then we'll take a break in April. if it's hurry up and get this over and get out of our lives in June, then we'll do that. But I really want some community feedback.
Mark, I have a question.
Mhm.
What are you thinking in terms of facilities across the district? The weather's going to get warm. How are we going to handle that? I saw Campton Elementary has a posted sign that the playground's closed. Obviously, we haven't done anything at Plymouth, but what are you thinking about consistency across the board for SAU 48 and all the facilities that we have outdoors?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. I'm sort of with the governor on this issue. And that is, you want people out exercising, you want people out getting fresh air. You just hope that they practice social distancing. And I'm hesitant to close those things off because they're going to go. Folks are going to go someplace. You know, nets are up on the tennis courts. There's folks playing tennis. That's perfectly fine. Occasionally, I see kids shooting baskets. The 2 or 3 kids. People are going to get out, and I'm not sure there's a way to enforce it. You know, I don't want to be putting up fences everywhere. These are the people's facilities. So I'm hesitant to get into, you know, really locking the place down. So many people rely, and they cut through. I mean, I've been in the office and I watch all the folks walking. This afternoon's a beautiful day to take a walk. So I think that the high school campus and Plymouth Elementary, Hampton, those are the schools that I think that we'd have the most issues with. Some of the other areas either have limited playground or will go other places within those communities. So, but yeah, Lisa, I don't know. I think it'd be a conversation with the local health officer and the local chief of police to be heard. Anybody else? If I could, Lisa, could I just want to, he's up in my right-hand corner. I just want to welcome Roger Scroggins to the board. All of you know Roger. He's the chairman out in Rumney and vice chairman of the SAU board. And now he's joined us as the Rumney rep at the high school. So I think it's, thank you, Roger, for stepping up and also you're going to enjoy it and the board's going to enjoy having you as one of its members.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for me to get to know how the high school works and to get to know how all of you are as well.
Madam Chair, I'm all set if you're all set with me here on this side. Anyway.
Okay, sounds great. Welcome, Roger. The committee progress reports. I noticed that there were things listed, but of course our next meeting's April 21st.
Yeah, if I could just get through some of this and we can talk about meetings in general, if that's okay. All of you got a memo from Dan Rossner. We've gone through our food service pricing audit with the National School. And as you know, we usually low on their equations. So we have to meet the minimum requirements, and that's raising prices by 10 cents in order to continue to qualify for the federal subsidies. So, you know, the tool is basically saying we should be charging $3. None of us are there yet in any of the districts. So, but if we allow it, if we can go up 10 cents, it still allows us to get the subsidy. If we don't, we put the subsidy in jeopardy, and then we're in real trouble. So I would ask if someone could make a motion to raise prices by 10 cents, and then we would comply with that.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Okay. And Janice, you want to do the roll call?
Sure. Maureen,
Yes.
Peter,
yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Bernie. Aye.
Sam,
Yes.
Bonnie? Is Bonnie still there?
She's driving, and she's not on my screen right now, so she may have hit a spot where there's no service.
Okay,
She's-
Lisa,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and Phil.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much. And the other issue coming from facilities, I moved down to a general discussion item.
All right, so garage addition to Park and Rec and cleanup?
Yes, at our last facilities committee meeting, we had discussed a project of adding bays to the existing Park and Rec garage. They would house the vans that we have. Currently, the vans are left outside. They're inside right now in the auto shop, but usually they're outside. And we'd like to get more protection from those. Also, we need some storage space. We really want to get to cleaning up that entire area. I know that I jokingly call it Santa's Village, but there's a lot of things to be cleaned up over there. Also, in dealing with all that scrub pine that's there, and it really does block out the sun, and we get a lot of ice over there. Many of you remember Ken Sutherland, and Ken used to be on me all the time to chop those trees down and get that ice out of there. So we discussed at the last facilities meeting doing this project, encumbering some money and doing this project. And when we went through the finances at that time, we were in very good shape, and we would be able to do that. So that's where we sort of left it. I will tell you, we've had the tree folks in already, not in that area, but over in the Pine Grove between the SAU office, the elementary school. We had a couple of pines just cracked way up in the tree, and then come down almost like spears that went into the ground. It was a little bit frightening, to be honest with you. Nobody was around, no one was hurt, no one saw it happen, but it did happen. So John Francis brought them in, and so sometime late last week, they were in clipping a couple of those pines and then identifying some trees that we'll have to move on at some point. But so that the trees are becoming.
Sooner rather than later,
Pardon?
hopefully.
Yes.
Sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, and it can be part of it can be part of this project, Peter. I said to John, if they've got a tree that needs to come down, and we bring them back to do this project, then we'll do everything at once as an economy of scale. So
yeah.
So that's where we are. I don't know, members of the facilities committee, if you want to talk about the project at all. I mean, I've sort of talked it out, and I'd be open to any questions or anything.
Well, I
The
would
only-
think that this would be the time to spend the money. We're going to have a little extra money, and we might as well take care of it in this year's budget.
Well, I agree with you, Peter. It's a one-time project, and it's a one-time shot. And as you know, Bruce and Tanya did a terrific job with 2 kids that we had budgeted for placement, and they did not go to placement, and they will not be going to placement. And that's where the money comes from. It's directly identified in the special ed tuition account.
I support the idea. My only question is, why is it coming up now?
It's always been there, Phil. It's just never been budgeted. It's just never had an opportunity to get there. We started talking about this about 3 or 4 years ago, and just left it because of budgetary reasons. And I've put it on the front burner because I'm leaving June 30th, and I don't want to have it just go by the wayside. And then we go 10 years and nothing has happened. That's all. The other thing that concerns me, Phil, and I said this at the last meeting, was we've had chemicals over there, weed chemicals, and all those sort of things that Jim Blake and his crew have worked with over the years. And we want to get out of that business, outsource the use of pesticides with a company And also, just get that off the grounds. And if there's any abatement that needs to take place, just get it done now. And that's what's driving me leaving, me concerned about those chemicals. Also in Plymouth at the town meeting, there was a Warren article about the use of chemicals, and I wasn't at the town meeting. I was at another meeting, but there was great talk, and there was a little commotion last summer about chemicals being used on the town common. And so what I want to do is try and keep future administrations out of any trouble, just like we do with busing, is just, outsource it, let the pros do it, and we'll tell them what kind of pesticides are allowed, and they'll tell us whether we can do it or not. But really don't want any of our employees or Town of Plymouth employees dealing with pesticides anymore.
Great. Does anyone have any questions?
Lisa, procedurally, where does this stand? Is this at the board for a vote right now?
If I could, that's why I put it down in discussion. It was carried over from facility. We talked about money, I think, in both facilities and in budget, and we sent it on to the next full board meeting, and that's where it is, Sam.
I'll make the motion that we approve that.
Second.
Second by Tim. Janice, will you do the roll call?
Sure. Maureen,
Yes.
Peter,
Yep.
Roger,
Yes.
Bernie,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Cappy,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Is Bonnie back? Yes. Okay, unanimous.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I sort of did the budget update under policy and budget. We will not hit our revenue targets for tuition, and we may not, though the money is starting to come in for Medicaid, we may not hit those targets, but we have taken measures within what potential fund balance to cover those. So we'll be fine with that. And other than that, I think that it's a matter of as I said earlier, if we're back in school or not back in school, if there are spring sports, but there could be a sizable amount of money that you'll have to make some decisions on, which is not a bad thing, obviously. But that'll be I'll get you a general overview in June about where you are, and then I'm sure you'll be meeting with Dan and Kyla in August or September about what you finally end up doing.
Mark, when do you think we're going to know if they're going to extend the May 4th date?
I think the governor will do something within the next 7 to 10 days. That's,
Wow.
yes, but he has been proactive on that, and if you want to look for a signal, I know Vermont has already done that, but he talks a lot about his relationship with Governor Baker in Massachusetts and the interrelationship between the two states. So it wouldn't surprise me if Massachusetts, if they came out early or if the two states came out at the same time. But I think there's so much interaction between those two states that if one does one thing, the other probably will do it.
Yeah, they're not going to shelter in place until whenever.
No, I don't think that's the one thing that I've seen the governor really cringe on. I don't think he wants to do that. As long as people behave and in terms of taking it seriously, social distancing and all of those other personal hygiene habits, I think he won't go there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
You may have already answered it while I was out. I had to leave the meeting for a second. The kids who have computers or are like internet connect, does everyone have an internet connection, or how is that being handled? I may have missed that.
Bruce or Kylie? I'm going to let Kylie Cap handle that because she's done a terrific job with all of the surveying and the numbers that were due. So I'm going to get up and let Kylie sit here and she can go through all of that for you, Connie.
If it's already gone over, I can ask later, get an answer later.
Oh, we haven't discussed it yet. Hi.
Okay. Hi.
So we did send out a survey, and we are still getting some students that still need a device. We had about 9 come today to get them. So we're still weeding out who exactly still needs one. But I've given out about 90 different devices at this point. So I probably won't give you too many more. And we do have some hotspots on order from Verizon. Unfortunately, everyone's trying to order them right now, so we don't have them yet. And the delivery date does keep changing. But everyone that I've heard from so far, between case managers and everyone has a way at some point, either using their parents' phone as a hotspot, or sitting in the library parking lot, or they have access in some way at this point. We don't have anyone at this point that has no device or no internet access. That was been brought to my attention yet.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question also, Lisa? I don't know if it's best for Bruce, Mark, or whomever. Any consideration given to changing grading? I know some districts are talking about moving to a pass-fail, partially because of issues like that were just discussed around inability to connect or whatever it might be.
Correct, Phil. I can take that. Third quarter is going to end on the 7th, and the kids will get a grade on that. We haven't made a decision on that. We are looking at the possibility of pass-fail. We're also looking at the possibility of credit, no credit. A lot of the colleges have gone that route, but we have not made that decision yet. I think we see what the governor does in regards with shutting down. If he does shut down the schools, we're going to have to deal with that. Right now, too, when the grading comes in, I've sent out an email to the staff. If there are unusual circumstances, I want them going directly to me. So I will be able to give that student an incomplete or decide on the grading of that. But no, Phil, we have not made a decision in regards with the 4th term yet.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sam, what's the college doing?
The college just recently offered faculty the option of going pass. I think the designation is called no pass for their classes. So it's up to each individual professor to make that decision. But then it's up to the student to opt in or opt out. So the student would have to choose to go pass, no pass. Otherwise, they'll get the traditional grade. Am I correct on that, Roger?
That is correct. It's a hybrid grading mode between pass, no pass, and the standard A through F. And so students will have a choice. Faculty members will try to do the best they can with that.
Cool.
Our college kids were given the option that they will get a grade at the end of the semester, and they can at that point either choose pass, fail, or to take their grade. So that's another way to look at it for those kids who are caring about their GPA a lot, and if they were going to get an A, that might be something to consider.
Yeah, at the college, at Plymouth State, I think it's up to each individual professor to set the date when students need to decide up until the last day of finals.
Okay.
That is correct, Sam.
Thank you. I read the emails, Roger. Thank you.
Any other questions? They're great questions. What we want to do is make sure that we don't bury some poor kid who, through no fault of their own, has been either not able to hook up or didn't get to work or whatever circumstance they might find themselves in. So please know that that's something that I have talked to all the administrators about, is making sure that we treat people fairly and we treat people like we'd like to be treated given whatever circumstances that we find ourselves in.
Let them know. I have an entire list of the entire student body on who's responded and who hasn't, and I go over that every Friday. The teachers give me a reflection of the week, and the counselors are working 24/7 in making contact, especially when we don't hear from kids and they have not completed their assignment. So we have kept up to date on the students' performances that way too.
That's great to hear that there's that you're monitoring that for those kids that once they start to fall off, lose momentum, it pretty quickly they're just so far behind that they can't catch up. So nice job with that.
You're right, Phil, and usually with the kids, it's no fault of their own. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover through discussion and committee reports, Madam Chair.
Lisa?
Sorry, my laptop is dying, so I'm just trying to plug it in.
Oh,
Well, while she's doing that, it's Cappy here. I'm still up at Boulder Point and I have to vacate the building, so I'm going to sign off.
okay. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm back. Sorry, Mark. Okay, so are we ready? How are we going to do non-public?
Well,
Pardon? Pemi TV has to sign off,
Okay.
and Kylie will monitor that to make sure that's happening. Also, if there's anyone else following us, Kylie's going through the roster right now of who's on for members of the public. They're going to have to sign off. And we have a big chart popping up on a screen in front of us that tells us who's here and who isn't here. So we'll wait until that clears. But you certainly can take a motion to go into non-public session for personnel.
I move that motion.
I'm sorry, before you do that, you were going to talk about meeting dates?
That's right, yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. When I look at the meet right now, I know it's difficult for folks, but if at least for the month of April, if we could plan on meeting on the 21st, is that possible? And I assume it'll be in this format, and we'll structure one agenda so that we deal with committee work and board all in the same night. So that allows you to get everything accomplished. And we obviously will minimize the sort of things that you have to deal with. You're going to do faculty nominations tonight. Hopefully you'll do support staff nominations, probably either in April or May, depending on, get a sense of what we need for next year. But after that, I'm not bringing a lot forward. The garage project and chopping down trees was about the last thing we had going. Bruce will have schedule issues for you, but there's nothing, we don't see anything really major in the schedule. We think we're going to be in good shape with the number of faculty positions we have and signed up for. So I think the spring, for the most part, will be as light as we possibly can make it. I'm not keeping anything away from you. If something comes your way, you're going to get it. But at the same time, we're not loading up. It's other than the facility project, the grounds will be quiet. We will be hosting, if we're able to, the Rumney Wentworth summer school playground program out of the north wing due to all the construction in Rumney. That construction will go on. That is an emergency. I forget the name the governor's calling it. Essential construction work is essential. So that project in Rumney is underway, and we're thrilled to get that going. But they have a 3 or 4 week program that'll be operated out of your north wing. But other than that, and again, we'll see if that actually takes place. Who knows?
Mark, what contracts are up this fall? The teachers up, or the support staff up, or who's up?
Teachers are up, and that's going to be significant because you have scheduling. You have a lot of issues you want to talk about. So there's going to be a lot of work involved in that, and you may want to get down to brass tacks with the issues with the administration during July. either at your retreat or on a special meeting, because there are things that we have sort of put off or said now's not the time. So, but I know scheduling and evaluation are two key points that have sort of, the can's been kicked down the road.
Yep. We didn't necessarily kick it.
No, but it went down the road. The wind blew.
It did. The wind blew it down the road.
Lisa, if it meets with the approval of the board, could we ask Bruce to, we're going to do it already, but at our next board meeting, as best he can, give us an update on how kids are responding to the remote learning, and any difficulties that we're encountering, so that, at least from my perspective, we're aware of what's going on with that whole process and the effectiveness of it.
Okay. And that, Phil, that'll be really the highlight of the meeting, because there's nothing more important than what we do.
Right. Right.
So we may even have Tanya and a few other folks in on the meeting, so they can give you a real update across the board of how things are going on.
That'll be good.
Sounds great. All right, so any further discussion before we go into non-public?
Can I just verify that we'll do this on April 21st?
Is that-
Sounds like a plan.
And we most likely will be doing it the exact same way.
Okay.